дамы и господа. Меня зовут Антон, и от инициаторов современной культуры «Гараж» я рад вас здесь поприветствовать. Только что вы посмотрели, как вы поняли, фильм по мотивам «Репки». Был он сделан детьми из малообеспеченных многодетных семей. Как вы видите, это было целиком операторская работа, их режиссерская, сценарная, актерская, все было сделано этими детьми за 3 часа, и это действительно прекрасно. Дети, к сожалению, не смогли присутствовать на большой премьере своего фильма, но их педагоги, которые организовали все это для них, а именно Панчук, Мария, Соловьева, Анастасия здесь, поэтому мы им крайне благодарны. Что они так вот используют те инструменты, которые мы пытаемся все вместе создать для такого благого дела. Ну и, собственно, ради чего мы все собрались, да, послушать, наверное, интересную беседу и увидеть создателя кинофабрики Мишеля Гондри, известного режиссера французского Мишеля Гондри, и вести с ним диалог будет, естественно, неподражаемый, блестящий, наш, наверное, незаменимый интервьюер Алена Долецкая. Попросим их на сцену.
Остается своей душой из красочек, он все время всех рисует, поэтому не обращайте внимания, это нормально. Все ли те, кто не говорят по-английски, взяли себе синхронный перевод? Если нет, возьмите, пожалуйста, потому что у нас не будет времени на перевод, и мы с Мишелем будем говорить по-английски, окей? Все шикарно. Так. Now we can do so the idea is that when we decided to have this lovely talk with Michel, we sent on our website an interview an opportunity to everybody who would come to ask us any questions they wanted. And literally a couple of hours ago, we finished editing them. We meaning the editors of the magazine. And there were thousands and very, very nice questions. Lots of fun. There were a lot of repetitions which we had to take out. But we decided to split them into 3 parts, Michel. Yep. And the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would call the funniest. On brabant. Sorry. So anyway, I just said it again. So the first 6 are going to be the ones that we love most of all because they're absolutely, some of them are very stupid, but they're so stupid that they're clever and they're funny. First question is, how come you're so cool? You may not answer it if you don't want.
I think it's nice to pose the question. Sorry, but
how come?
That's a very nice compliment.
Okay.
I don't know that so much about me. To tell you the truth, I get always rejected from the discotheque.
Where?
All the discotheques.
Oh, you're rejected from discotheques?
Yes.
Because you're so super cool?
No, because I'm not cool. I swear. You guys speak English mostly?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they all do.
Okay.
Very
So that's how it works.
Okay.
In my life, unfortunately. I mean, just like recently. We do screen like that, and then I try to meet this woman that I like. And there is 4 other persons, and mostly young, who come too. And they all actresses, and they want to get the job from me. And they stick to my ass. And then they force me to go to discotheque. And then I don't get accepted in discotheque. So plus I don't want to go out, it's that. So I don't think I'm cool, really.
Okay, you see most of our readers, most of people who love you here think that you're very cool. Next question is, I'm sorry but I have to ask, what do you do tonight?
Well, I'm open-minded.
Open-minded?
Because I do talks like that, and then after everybody goes to a party and then back to my home.
Yeah. We go to party, but then the question is what you're doing tonight, later, I guess.
Well, I do. Well, I know. I had some sleep this afternoon, so I can party a bit for once.
Somebody asks you, what should I do if I don't want to have fun, and I don't know how to revive myself. What do I do if I don't want to have fun?
You do what you don't like, or you do the thing, or what you don't like, or you do... Well, it's an interesting question. If you don't want to have fun, you do what people tell you to do. You do what you don't tell you yourself to do. You stop doing something because people tell you it's not the way to do it. Then you can have a lot of other ways to have not fun is to... Well, you can say other people to not do what they like, but I think some people have fun doing it, so I don't think it answers the question.
Not really. That's really...
Well, that's another question, so we can go forever. I don't think anyone's going to learn from it.
Exactly. And it's a question from a boy who says, I'm ready to play the main character in your movie. When is your next film taking part?
Well, I wonder, because I cannot find a producer who has enough energy to follow the last movie and continue with it, or decline.
Cool, so you've got somebody who is absolutely prepared to play the main character in your movie.
Well, I think it's a bit over the top to ask to start with the main character to ask. You could ask for a small part first. But maybe he asked for a big part, and I can't say yes. Many people, when they have the courage to ask, and they don't have the courage to do. That was a big sentence. No, seriously, some people are very trained to jump over somebody they like, or tell them how much I like them, or then tell them how much I want to work with them. And many times you say, okay, let's do it, they say, oh, wait a minute, I have to make my sister go, and so on. And they're not ready to go. So.
Are you happy?
Am I happy? Well, there is ups and downs. I'm very happy to be here. I really enjoy watching this film. It's exactly what... I don't know, I don't have expectation. It's what I hope things could turn out. I like very much the part of the guy in the jail, he brought the jail, and he had to carry on the tank. None of all the professional actor or technician who I ever met would dare to carry the scene if something of such magnitude happens live.
It's true.
And that was great, because we carried on and the scene is even better.
And always the last question from the funny bunch is, should I lie?
Should I lie?
Should I lie?
Right.
Somebody's asking you, should I lie? Is it okay if I lie?
Wow! I mean, I never thought in my life I would be empowered by so deep question. I don't think so. It depends. I don't think so.
Like this, I
I think
Einstein,
when he did the atomic bomb, he lied to people, and I think that was an atrocious mistake, so I don't think people should lie.
Okay. And the last is not a question, it's a statement. You better listen to this. Somebody says, I love you.
Well, I hope it's a pretty girl.
I'm sure it's a pretty girl.
Well, if it's a little boy, I'll take it as a daddy.
No, don't worry, I think it's a pretty girl.
Yeah, yes. Well, I bet you she's a pretty girl, and then the second sentence, you must beat my girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so let's go through that.
That's not a nice story.
Okay, I don't want to play the region.
What's your, let's move to the questions from the audience that sent it to us. You always draw one and the same person? There are so many in the hall.
I know, but she's going to be upset if I stop drawing her.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to draw the person next to the academic collection.
Okay, so after the session, definitely there's going to be a lot
I'm listening.
I'm sure you do. Here's another question. What is your brightest and most exciting memory of your childhood?
Well, it's not very late, my memory of childhood, but the brightest. I'm not just very judgmental on my memories. Yes, one is great. Okay. I was maybe 3 years old. That's one of my first memories. And it was very cold. So we lived in Versailles, which is a suburb of Paris, quite protected. And we lived nearby the forest. And one day, I went to walk with my mom. We went to walk in the forest. And I put a mask, a clown mask on me, and I had gloves, and pants, and all my clothes, and hats, and shoes, and a scarf. With the mask, I just told myself, or I said to myself, there is only my eyes in contact with the cold outside.
You wanted to your eyes?
No, my eyes were the only part of my body who were touching the cold outside. All the other part of my body were covered by the plastic of the mask, or my hat, or my coat, and so on. And I was walking, and I realized that my eyes would see such details. And then we saw white strawberries.
Wild strawberry.
Yeah, little white strawberries. That's a very nice moment.
Oh, that's lovely. A few things about Russia. First of all, why did you decide to bring your movie factory to Russia?
I think, well, I would say I love Russia, I love Russian literature, I love people from what I met, from whom I met, but most of all, it's who takes it here, who takes the principle here, the principle of the factory. So at the same time as we're here, there is a scene happening in Johannesburg, and it happened that the schedule was very. Sometimes it takes for months or years before people say, okay, we have this. It's not very light as an installation.
Well, Garage did do it pretty well.
Yeah, no, I think we need to find people who are willing to invest with no return. That's pretty awesome.
Are you planning to watch?
I didn't finish the
sorry.
question. But I'm going to say thank you to somebody. At least I didn't see it yet. Can you believe that? I barely saw any picture of it, and that's why I really wanted to come. So I'm really thankful that the Polytechnic Museum is doing that and is putting the effort. And I don't know exactly who is working and doing what, but I know it's a lot of work. I've been closely preparing many other sessions and experiences in cities, and I know it's a lot of work. And from what Aliona told me, that was the first free event in the museum since communism, which is very awesome. So I'm very excited. I'm very pleased about that. So that doesn't answer why I'm coming here, but I think this is a very nice place, I guess, because so I'm coming here. It goes the other way.
Can I ask you to give me an honest answer? I think Garage by now has already launched, prepared, and helped to shoot over 5 movies, little movies, like, you know. Are you planning to watch them all?
5 movies?
Mm-hmm. The ones that were made by different creative teams in Moscow.
Yes. No, well, I don't want to watch especially the movies that are made by people that are responsible. I prefer to watch movies from. I'm happy, and I guess. I think it's a mistake to think that because I watch them, they're going to give them any more value. Well, I think it's a sentimental attachment, but in reality, as long as they are made and they are, to me, what's strong is when the people who made them watch what they express when they watch them, what they feel, and it's always a mixture of laughter and pride, which is also a mixture, if you ask me. So then if I watch it, it's even better, but I don't think it's necessary, and I would rather, I understand your point, it's like, they work with dedication, and if they're pleased that I watch them, I will try to watch them. But I think I would like to watch any random film. And some people, they come several times, something we never really planned to do, but ask people to come 2 times or 3 times and see how they evolve in their creativity when they get a little more confidence. But the most interesting for me is when I see people who are not at all creative work. They think, most people who are not in creative business, so I don't know exactly how it works in Russia. But like in the country I know, like France or US, most people who don't work in creative media or in media altogether. They don't believe they have creative capacities. And those are the people who have the most interesting perspective. Because one, they never heard them. So once they never have the opportunity to express their creativity, so when they do, it comes from very specific ways. And it just comes out of the blue and it's very, it's bursting in a way.
It's very, very personal. No, we did the movie like Into the Gang, did the movie Garage, Gang did the movie.
No, but I'm trying to finish about people who, I don't know the percentage of people who are in those movies, who are not in this business, who don't have opportunities other than that, to make a movie, or what is not really a movie, to have fun with the camera, let's say. So those are the people who are interested, because I just said the first part of this. They have no opportunity to express themselves, and we have no opportunity to hear what they have to say, or to see what they have to show. And that was amazing. It's like you get so surprised at how much you can learn, and how much you can enjoy somebody who is selling cars, or somebody who is washing the street, or whatever job they do, when they suddenly decide to go with the camera and tell a story. And then you never have this opportunity on TV ever. So that's why I would rather watch those movies, because they will be more surprising and more, most likely, more interesting to me.
I see. Thank you. Even though, when we are sort of writers and designers and whoever, when we talked about it, it was very challenging. We didn't even know that it would be that difficult. Though everything was there, the sets, whatever. So
because I think maybe you imagine that I would watch it someday. It's like, okay, let's say the comparison is very stiff. Let's say there is this girl, so I'm doing something in anticipation that she might watch it one day. So everything I do is under the invisible herself watching me, so it's such pressure on myself. So it's not the same relation this group of people will have with me, but there is a relation of expectation, and then when you have expectation, then there is an impatience. So you think, oh, he's going to watch it, or what are you going to think? But somebody who, that's not the partner, has no clue of who I am, or don't think I'm cool, or whatever, or I even exist, then he's going to do something without thinking. His joy will be much more pure in a way, because he's not going to do it to show a talent, he's just going to do it to have fun, and then by doing that, he's going to express himself in a more interesting way.
Michel, I know that you watch a lot of Russian movies, you know movie directors, Russian movie directors. You read Russian literature, not in the original, naturally, probably in French or in English. Did you ever think of making a movie or shooting a movie in Russia?
Not yet. Well, yeah. Every novel you read, I read the young doctor of countryside. What's called? It's a story of a young doctor who takes office in a countryside hospital. What's her name? It's a countryside doctor, it's called.
The Bulgakov.
As Bulgakov, yes.
Zapiskivaч? Oh, sorry.
So this is the right Bulgakov, but I imagine Jim Carrey doing that. It would be hilarious because this guy is very pure, but he has a lot of energy and he decides to take on this job of being a doctor in the remote part of Siberia, right? And there is this hilarious part, but they're very dark as well. But like he goes to help a woman give birth, and then there is a complication, and he has no clue how to do it. But you remember he has this book at home.
Yeah.
So in return he has to go to the bathroom, and he rushes back home, and he watches the book, and he sees the case, and he comes back and he fixes the case. This is calling for a movie right away in my imagination. And then there is one case that he has to take the slider with dogs, and he goes in consultation, far away, and you can see him in the night, and it's very risky. All that is, but it's been done in the movie already.
Would you like to shoot a movie in Russian?
I'd love to. You got money? I don't need much
Are we
money.
talking now? I can find money for you, I will.
That's what I wanted to do while coming here, because I'm a little screwed in France. Because, no, it's terrible, because I'm finishing this movie that people have huge expectations for Lesbian, it's a very prominent novel. And it's no way that anyone will allow me to start another one before this one is finished. Which is what I do. I mean, if you look at people who I respect a lot, like the Coen brothers, they do one movie after another, and they're all good. And nobody criticizes them. I don't know why is it going to be a problem that I do 1 or 2 movies per year. I mean, this is what I want to do. And I can't find anyone who wants to follow me, so I'm going to have to start to look outside of the circle.
I think you should.
All right.
We'll talk money after that. No problem. Don't worry.
I know. Your questions are good. I did only 2 drawings.
Well, because you were talking so busy. Listen, do you Twitter or do you do Facebook?
None of them.
None.
Never did Twitter.
Never did Twitter?
Never, no once. And you know what's funny? Like Facebook, I can barely do it. And most of the time when people say bad stuff on their movies, I always want to write back. Like this guy said, this movie is so bad, I want to hit the guy in the face. Okay, me, I write Your Mother is Fat. And I can't download it. I know there's always a password or something technical that stops me. And it's frustrating because I would put my name and everything and say Your Mother smelled like vomit, something stupid, to take my revenge. But I can't do it. Technically, I have some limitation.
Do you still do drums? Did you...
I never did drugs in my life. What are you talking about?
I'm not talking drums. What are you listening? I said drums.
Drum, yes.
Because you are...
More than ever.
It's called a Freudian slip, my dad.
Well, I saw the question where beyond Freud, not like France, where I was still like stuck in this superstition.
Exactly. You still drum? You still play? Do your neighbors complain?
Oh, you know the funny story. I have this house where we called the other day.
That's the one in the countryside?
Yes. And I had my drum kit there. And I have to admit, it's a small village and it's in the valley, so I must have pissed off more than one person. But last year, you know what's rare when you have a drum is, first of all, you do 5 minutes per day and then you get pissed off because it's like pinball. I don't know if you ever played pinball, you get sweaty on there or something. It doesn't lead anywhere. So that's the problem. And then the other problem is when your friend comes, they play the drum, and that really breaks your bone badly. It's a horrible sound to hear people that are not you playing the drums. So what happened last year is somebody broke into the house, stole something, and stole the drum kit.
Stole all your drum kit?
Yes.
Out of the house?
Sorry?
All of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one drum kit, it's 5 pieces.
Yeah, it's big.
Well, it's not a big drum, but nevertheless. First of all, they give me the best service. It was a great help to me because I wanted to get rid of it. No, I didn't have the idea I wanted to get rid of it. But when it was gone, I was like, my life is so much better without my drum kit. And they accuse people from Roma. They always accuse the Roma in France.
Oh, that's good.
No, it's not. I mean, it makes me sad because I know it's not a Roma or anyone. It was somebody from the fucking village who told it and was somewhere right to do it. Because my drum was breaking his balls. To her balls.
Well, they steal stuff in Russian villages too, so don't worry.
No, my point is, everybody in the village accused Roms because they saw one another day selling fruits, which is perfectly legal. Is that correct? Is the word Roms? People from Gypsy people.
Yeah.
In France, they're so racist against Gypsy people. It's hurting me just thinking of it. And so they were accused, and I know it was not them, it was my neighbor who I was working with here.
Did you report about this to the police?
No.
No.
And I guess the police came, no, the only thing is that now we decided to put a strong window. In fact, I'm going to stop the process because I don't think it's necessary. Now the job is done, nobody's going to steal anything.
Exactly, get rid of it, because otherwise they will be stealing it anyway. But there was this question, if you were asked to choose between 5 human senses, looking, your sight, your smell, your hearing, your ability to talk, which one?
The sense.
Not to talk, the
taste.
The taste, sorry. The taste. Which one, if you were asked to keep one, which one would you keep?
The taste. No, sorry. I think I would be more scared to lose the sight, but in fact, I've heard many times people saying that losing the hearing was more isolating. Because you don't close your ears, you close your eyes, so you sort of control. But your ears, if they're gone, but I don't know, I mean, I would still keep honestly, I don't think I want to torture myself with this kind of question.
Don't worry, you have all the right to say it.
They're all good to hear, but my auntie who's always losing most of them, she's still doing great, and she has a quality called resilience, which is when you adapt to the difficulties of life and keep positive about it. And she has a lot of mnemotechniques to find the things without seeing them. And it's great because I read them stories, and she explained them because she was a school teacher. So her limitation senses put her closer to me.
Here's a question in your film. We're moving to interview questions. Be Kind, Rewind. The characters are remaking the movie.
Yeah.
Is there any movie that you would like to remake or to do a remake on?
Yeah, so one the other day with Louis Finesse, which is amazing. It's called Joe, and it's a story that's very close to. It's a famous movie because this one was a comedy. It was done by a guy called Jean Giraud, who did a lot of comedy like the Gendarme and something like that. So they are pretty funny actually.
You would like to do a remake of this one?
No, not the Gendarme. But the one I saw the other day, it was a guy who was doing a play to kill somebody. The play was about to kill somebody, but he was doing it to really kill somebody. And there is the same story with a much more pretentious movie, which is Loot, with Michael Caine and another guy. It's very famous. But this one was a comedy version of it, and it was way, way stronger. And I thought that it corresponds to a dream I had once after I saw the movie. And I would like to do my dream in a movie. So it's a remake with a layer of dream in between.
Another one in your Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey decides to erase his memory.
Yeah.
And then tries to reject the whole decision and tries to bring the memory back.
Yeah.
And the question to you is there any memory in your life that you would never, ever would love to erase?
Well, most of them, but there is some I would like to erase. Which is this question you're asking me. That's a trick I learned when I was doing interviews on this thing. But no, seriously, sometimes you go back home and you said something stupid. Like, I have so many of those, it's hard to pick. You said something stupid and nobody told you it was stupid and you realize what you said. And you come back home and say, did I say that? Oh, it's so stupid. That's what I want to erase. After the relationship and stuff, maybe one relationship I would erase, I have to say.
Only one relationship you would like to erase?
Oh yeah. I don't think I should do it. No, I mean, you don't want to do that. I mean, if you went through the pain and you cannot show up like, oh, I did that and my heart was broken. Then at least when you say that, the girl says, oh, my little darling, let me take care of you. If you erase that, then you have your heart broken and you don't have a story to tell.
It's true.
So fuck it, I'm keeping my memories.
Yeah, I keep them. I don't.
That's a movie. It doesn't have to be.
One day you'll make a movie out of this broken relationship, no?
I did already in the sense of speaking.
Exactly.
See, if I had erased this memory, I would not have done the sense of speaking. Which people would say, well, anyway, you should not have done it, it's not as good as the first movie. It's still not. All the time, people go to me and say, oh, I love your last movie, but you so much better. Fuck it. Yeah, should be honest and say what the fuck it. It would be funny, because people, somebody's speaking. No, lots of people, they think they're making a compliment, they say, oh, I love the last movie, but come on, it's such a sunshine, it's such a movie. Fuck you, man.
Oh, yeah.
I like the last one better always.
Now that you started singing, tell me, is there anything in contemporary music that excites you?
Oh,
that
yes,
you really appreciate?
Well, the music you're going to play to me later, maybe, I don't know.
Who are the contemporary musicians would you like? Really do like?
No, a lot of them, but now you're asking me a question, I'm going to not find the answer. I feel really embarrassed because I play radio all the time.
Exactly.
No, so I know many things, but...
But nobody you would like to say, these are new geniuses, I love them.
Yes, many. Well, you're trying to say that I don't think the music has any more talent in the world?
Not really, but music is in a tough situation at the moment, as you know.
Oh, that's a producer who are in tough situation, but fuck that too.
True.
Seriously, I grew up in the 80s with those guys who were driving Porsches. I mean, I'm talking about France now, I don't know how it was. It's a different story, of course.
Yeah.
But in France, it was so bad. They were throwing the money and they were fucking over. Sorry, I'm being rude. Is that okay to say my word?
Fucking, it's okay. We do it here all the time, so no problem.
In English, it's very convenient that I only have one word that's funny. I'm sure in Russia you have 200 words.
We've got loads, but...
Like, in the Russian novel, one guy has 10 names. So you read a guy, a story, with 2 guys in the room. There is 20 guys. If you don't know it, I mean, the first time I started to read the Russian novel, I was like, okay, that was Igor, that's a Stravinsky word, now it's another name, that's a surname, fourth name. And it's amazing because eventually you catch up with it. Anyway, I'm sure there's, I hear music, I like dance music.
What's your favorite comfort food?
Sorry, what?
Comfort food. You know, you eat something for comfort.
My auntie's food.
What's that?
Yeah, my auntie's food, she cooks very well. She cooks with the season, she makes... What she does is like, she makes food. Let's say she's going to do a gratin de finois or some pasta one day. The next day, she's going to recycle it in another bowl. Some language is typically... Anyway, and she put some cheese on it and she put it in oven. That's the best stuff. When it's recycled, the next day it's a little bit... Yeah. It's like a remix, in fact.
That's cool.
She does a remix of food.
Yeah.
And you have mashup. Do you guys know what mashup is? It's when you take 2 songs and you make them the same beat and the same speed, the same speed and the same pitch, so you can play them at the same time. But the guy, there is a white album of the Beatles, and then there is a black album. It's on the... It's a very famous rapper. So some guy came and he did the grey album. That's a great idea.
Okay. There are plenty of creative people here. I would like to break my questions because there's plenty and give a chance to our respected lovely audience to ask anything they want to Michel. In case you've got any questions, you're very welcome.
Hello. I think I wanted to ask you this thing for maybe 6 years, and I can't believe I'm doing it. But and I guess you're tired of this question, like you just were. But why are you not working anymore with Charlie Kaufman? Because your creative dude was so great. So maybe if you were...
Even if so what I said. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe a few words did you enjoy, because I heard your... Or if it's that painful, I won't.
Okay, that's another question. I'm gonna give you the answer. One day I was with, so basically you're regretting the time when I was working with Charlie Kaufman. It's your choice, I respect it. Something maybe you should know is that one day I met a friend of mine, so Pierre Bismuth, he's a contemporary artist. He has this concept. One day you receive a card that tells you, your girlfriend, this person I erased you from her memory, please never refer to her again. Genius concept. That's Pierre Bismuth. Nothing to do with childhood. Fine. We take it together. We write a one-page story. The story is this guy found out he was erased by his girlfriend, tried to find her. He goes the same procedure, then he changed his mind, and then they meet again at the beach. That was what we wrote on paper. Charlie did an amazing fucking job by doing this screenplay, but never wanted to admit I wrote the story with Pierre Bismuth and him. And we start to promote the film. So we go on the road, and my producer called and said, Michel, I know you have some disagreement with Charlie Kaufman, but please, can you lie and not tell that you wrote the story because it's going to be bad for the movie? And you know how stupid I was? I said, okay, I do it. So nobody ever fucking knows that I participated to the story to this level. Moreover, one day, Kate Winslet called me out of the blue after the movie history and stuff, and she said, Michel, I have to tell you something. Before, see, I'm speaking, so this question put me on my edge of my seat. The Kate Winslet told me that the boss or somebody from Focus Film who was releasing the film, independent studio, asked for it. It's good to be in Russia and say what you say. Anyway, I'll do it anyway. And the guy told her, please, to the media, can you lie about the shooting and not say how much you did improvisation with Michel because we are trying to get Charlie Kaufman the Oscar of Best Screenplay? She told that to me. And at the end of the day, Charlie Kaufman got the screenplay. And when in Oscar, I got a statue as well. Wow, that's very good. We were on stage, we are Pierre Bismuth, the contemporary artist, who found the concept of Charlie Kaufman. Only Charlie Kaufman was allowed to speak in the microphone. Then we go to the back room, and there is people who give us the Oscar. That was the black actor who is great, that is in Pulp Fiction. What's his name? No, Pulp Fiction. Samuel Jackson, a great actor. He gave us the Oscar, and he was next to us, and the first journalist asked a question, not to Charlie Kaufman, but to me, to Pierre Bismuth, and I'm going to mind the behavior of Charlie Kaufman. He's very strong. That is Charlie Kaufman. Why do I not want to work with him anymore? Thank you. That's how it is. Because his name is bigger than mine. He had done Bader Makovich, and he's extremely talented. It is really frustrating for me that people only limit me. And to be honest, I think this movie is Hitler. It's not. My brother likes it better than my other film. My brother is a douchebag. Douchebag? You know douchebag? English expression means asshole. And it's not good to show that. Okay, I'm gonna have fun. Alright, hit me.
Hi, Michel.
Hi.
I want to ask a question about the video of Rolling Stones, like a Rolling Stone. How did you get this effect in this video? And was it made from photos, or it have parts of video?
From photos? No, sorry.
You made a video for Rolling Stone.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
like a Rolling Stone.
In 1990s, yeah. The video called Like a Rolling Stone. Yeah, okay, so it was a great effect, like it looks like it made...
The effect is?
Yeah, the effect, like After Effects, like it made from photos.
It's made with stills.
Morphing.
Yeah, it was a different way to use the morphing. Two ways. One way was to shoot 1 4 frames per second with a still camera. And I said to the guy, morph the image. I took a picture of me walking in the street, so I'm going to do it. So it's 4 pictures per second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And I say the guy morph this one to this one. So what's going on is like he's going to morph my knee here to that. And I tell him, don't bother with the background. So what happens, like when he morphs my leg here from there to there, all the background drags with me. Because it's like a chewing gum morphing, you stretch the image and it just moves, and you can do it on your Macintosh or whatever computer you have. So that was one effect, and it looks very druggy and very interesting. Not that I take ever drug, but somebody told me. Yeah, a guy actually who was taking acid told me that when you take acid, you see the surface of the tea. No, like the walls, it's like the surface of the tea when it gets cold. I was like, oh, interesting. So I got it. And the second effect is you take 2 pictures at the same time, one from there and one from there. And let's say you jump, so you're in mid-air, and you do morphing from one camera to another. So you recreate all the space in between the 2 pictures, but you are not moving. So the camera is moving, but the time is time.
So, but it's video, yeah? This part with moving of camera, it's video. Not photo.
It's always still cameras, but this one, because there is also technique to use the effect with many cameras, but we have only 2 cameras.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. According to you, what makes creativity of somebody?
I'm sorry.
Just to go back to Garage Project, according to you, what makes creativity of somebody?
What makes creativity of somebody?
Yeah, and also another question would be...
Alright, I mean, this is a good question. I could stop here, but just because I can't understand what you're talking about. No, my voice is coming from somewhere here.
What?
I can't hear you very well. But what makes creativity from somebody?
That's my first question.
No, let me answer the first one.
Okay.
Well, the decision to express itself. That's what makes it creativity. That's as simple as that. In my opinion, I'm not a specialist. Although in creativity, it's been a lot of time I've been asked to answer questions. So just the decision to see. I have those little books from my background. So I made those little tests. Can you come and study? So that's a little notebook I made, and I have a little symbol because people ask me this type of question which I like. And I think there is like 4 symbols. The first time I do that, it looks like a guru, so I don't take it too seriously. So the first thing is like to start. It means like I'm answering your question, like what makes somebody creativity. So just to take the camera and shoot that's creativity. And then after, it's all very complicated. What follows? Then it's a judgment from other. It's his judgment. But then the second symbol, it's do something that you like or learn as you do. It means that you do something that you like, so you want to do it more. And if you learn, like I started to do drawings more. Accurately, I would say in 5 years ago, although I did that when I was a kid. And now every drawing, I feel I'm getting better. So I want to do another one to improve, and another one. It's very exciting, in fact, just to do people's faces. And I do lots of them. So that's this one. Then, turn the page. This one is a bit more complicated. It means don't listen to others, which means don't listen to others. You do what you want, and everybody is going to tell you, you can't do this like that, you can't do that, it's not like that, things have to be done, why do you think you are, who do you think you are? I did a documentary on my auntie. All my family, they mocked me. They said, what do you think will interest people? It's just our auntie. Fucking hell, she's the best woman I know, she's a school teacher, she worked for... It's exactly like the countryside doctor, except she's a teacher. It's the same level of narration. So I made a movie about that. I'm sorry that's my auntie. We don't have even rated one. So that's, don't fucking listen to other asshole. Listen to your own asshole. And the last one is like put back in context, meaning, okay, sometimes listen to others. Really occasionally. And that's it, basically, what I have to say about the question. So I selected for one of Robert. One of Robert, how do you say Robert in Russian? Robert, the money, Dingley, Walt Dingley. Rubber.
One.
One rubber. One rubber. I buy them 500, and I sell them one divided by 500. It's my way to make business. Okay, the second question. Because the first one was...
Okay. Just the second question is, you said that there is a lot of things to get from people who are in business. I think there is a lot of things to get from people who got nothing.
No, I didn't say that. Oh, okay, hold on. What did you think I said?
I think you said that it's very interesting to see what the people who got like normal life can get the creativity.
Yes, correct.
And I think it might be very interesting to have that from people who don't have anything. So homeless people. And
yes, sure. Yes. I agree totally. My son, for example, is 22. And when he grew up in New York, he was saying, Dad, who I'm learning from the most? And I said, homeless. And first I was like, fuck, he's going out of school and he's going to hang out with drug addict and alcoholic. But he was right. I mean, if they hang out in the street all day long, they just know so much better. And for a little kid who has the safety of his home, to be mixed up with his culture, it's the best thing that can happen to him. So I couldn't agree more with you. So I guess maybe I should do a homeless movie factory. I'll do it. It's going to be home movie factory, but with the others looking for home where people will sleep there and have a meal. Seriously, that's a very good idea. I'm going to think of it.
Thank you.
А можно вот сейчас там готово есть, да? А давайте по очереди. Сначала этот микрофон, потом другой.
В чем по-вашему? Можно на русском?
What's the book?
В чем по-вашему заключается профессия Michel? Извиняюсь, в чем, по-вашему, заключается профессия режиссера и основная задача режиссера и кто принимает режиссера?
Еще раз, основная задача режиссера и что?
Кто принимает режиссера?
It's one rubber.
Книжку можно по рублю купить, готовьте рубль.
Да, готовьте рубль.
His name. Like if you call us on rights, you're right. That was a little...
Ответ он был такой. Если он великий, то он великий режиссер. Если он делает великое кино, он великий режиссер.
His name? I have no idea. Come on. That's not exactly why we're here. I don't know.
Не
I
знаю.
don't have this type of judgment.
Я не тот человек, который может ответить на такой вопрос.
Hold on, I'm going to shoot the side of my notebook for one rubber. Too cool. Run by a cow, a bridge of cow. So it's a big hand. Okay, here you go. Here you go with the big hand. In your brain, you have. Okay, I'm not a specialist of the brain, but I read books. I saw an exhibition in France where they made a physical representation of what you have. It's like a map of your nerve ending. It's called a homunculus. So on the cortex is the surface of the gray matter. It's where most activity goes. In the white part of the brain, there is a lot of activity too. Yeah. And so you have. Yeah. Let's say, so, Shit. Yeah, I was saying sorry because I talk outside the microphone when I say shit. So here's the prank. Looks like noodles. Let's come to the back. Let's see. Okay, here's your prank. Here, I'm sorry, it's average knowledge, but probably not so much. You have a very weird little guy who has very small penis, very huge mouth, small eyes, and huge head. And this corresponds to the map of your body, all your nerves endings in your body. And there is two homunculus, one on one side who is the one who you give order and say, I want to grab this beer, so my little guy in my head, it's my representation of myself in my head, I'm going to tell it like that, and the other one, if I go like that, I feel the pain here in the hand, and they are next to each other, but they're quite a little bit different. And I noticed the side of the hand are exactly the same side of the feeling of the hand, the side of the hand I had when I would wake up from my nightmares. So those nightmares I did like 2 or 3 times a week for maybe 5 years or 10 years when I was between 6 and 10. So I would wake up and feel that my hands are big like that. That's why I did this video. And then in the Science of Sleep, I used it again. It's my feeling. So for instance, if I take my phone like that, let's say I take this water, and when I have this feeling, it feels that I'm holding something like that. Because my hand feels really big. And that's about it. I don't know, it was not really a question. I mean, that's answer whatever question you want to ask. How about
Следующий, давайте. А у кого микрофон?
Well, that's a good answer.
Bonsoir, Michel. I have heard a joke that your biggest competition in a movie production is always a so-called friend or director. Do you involve your friends in your films?
This is very complicated, and I've been in a lot of complex situations. Of course, you want to work with your friend, and sometimes your friends are really better than people that you would work without knowing, and sometimes they're not as good. The problem is they pressurize you, some pressurize you, and some do it really, really bad. And it puts you in a very terrible situation because I don't know how to deal with that. But a lot of time, I mean, like maybe 1 out of 10 people on the shooting is somebody I knew from before. I mean, much more actually. And that's puts a lot of problem in comparison to the one that I don't know from before. Because those would think, oh, you work with him because he's your friend. And as you can see, why you pay him more than me because he's your friend. You're not as hard as you are with me because he's your friend. And the friend on the side will say, well, you ask us to work on the movie because we are our friend, we are your friend, and so you don't pay us very much. So you don't pay us very much. So it's all to lose. And sometimes I have some friends, not anymore, but as old friend, who comes on the shooting and say, well, do we eat? Because he's my friend and he wants to eat. This is horrible. I have no idea how to deal with this situation. If anyone has an idea, $1 for an idea. Seriously, it is very complicated. And if it was because you wanted to befriend me, then I give you a job. It would be $1. It's a nightmare. And sometimes people, okay, I give you a situation that's disentangleable. How do you translate it?
Terrible.
No, disentangleable. You can't disentangle it.
Не распутывая моя.
That's-
Disentangleable.
Oh! It's good to have somebody knowledgeable next to me. You also know?
Yeah, it's in a bag.
Okay, anyway. That's good that she could find the proper word. So this situation was, this guy was my first lady and he became my friend. He's a guy who produced a lot of movies for Milos Forman. He's a big size producer. And he became very close to me, very friendly. And he said, when you do the green on net, you have to hire me. And I was like, this guy is really, he's great. He did it on his show. So the green on net, this guy is now looking. He's deaf, and he doesn't fix it. And his job is first aid. First aid is the guy who must know everything. And he asked me, so you better ask for me. And I go to the studio, and I have one person I can ask because all the crew was decided for me, which actually was a good thing, because I don't have to hire my friend. I don't have this problem. But for this post, this role, this job, I have to hire somebody I know. I mean, I have to decide who to hire. And the guy of the studio, without me asking him anything, comes to me and says, hey Michel, we have great news for you. We can hire your friend. I didn't fucking ask him. This is a nightmare. I say, well, okay, great. And then my friend comes to me, hey, I've heard you're hiring me. I'm like, no, okay, that's great, fucking hell. It's horrible. I swear this is a horrible situation. If you become a director and you have a business going on, and if you are, watch out with that. On the other hand, there is so many of your friends that you are talented, the shy one. They don't ask for a job because they're too shy, or they have much more talent than others who are big markets. This is a big nightmare. I have no proper answer for that. I just give you the problem. If you have an idea, you can use it for yourself or give it to them.
Can I add to this question? Я хочу добавить просто к тому вопросу. Do people who played for you in the movies like Jim and Kate and whatever, are you keeping friends with them, or do you still keep like purely professional relationship? Or do they become friends after you shoot them?
The dead approach. The dead approach. Okay, but no, with Kate we are very good friends. But see, those people, it's like Björk, for instance, she's one of my best friends. Really, only her understands sometimes what I have to go through and what it is to have an idea and fight for it. I mean, I have really to treat her for, first of all, trusting me before I can trust myself. Then we become really good friends, but you have to work extra hard if you are busy and she is busy or the person is busy to keep time to see each other, because none of the entourage people is going to facilitate this meeting because it's not in one of their agenda. So it's a nightmare. And with Björk, we really work hard, so we at least meet once a year. And believe me, meeting somebody once a year, if you think of somebody who's not living in the same city than you, it's a big achievement. So for example, we're trying to meet now with Björk. So she sent me yesterday an email saying, what city are you in? I say, well, I'm in south of France, I'm going to Paris, and I'm going to Moscow tomorrow, and then I'm going back to Paris. I'm waiting to hear back. So, yes, there's people like that. Or with Jim Carrey, yeah, we met several times, and he's actually really nice. And we have dinner, and it's organized, or lunch and stuff, it's organized around sort of fails projects, but it's good because we still talk. And it's not easy.
No.
But I don't have to have a successful friend, I'll tell you, it's good. I mean, I have a lot of successful friends, they are not necessarily successful in terms of show business.
Sure. Извините, я вас
I have a question about your film as the Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind, and the question is, how did you decide to choose Jim Carrey as for the main role? How did you understand that he's the one who has to play this role? Despite the fact that he's a great comedian actor, that he's very funny, but he didn't play in such kind of movies.
Okay, I understood the first one. He chose us in a way. I mean, we choose different people. We wanted to have this Doletskaya. I have to say, once Charlie Kaufman was in the place, he was the one who was deciding. Because when he disagrees with something, he does like that. And the producer says, okay, Charlie, okay, we'll do what you want. It takes a lot of... So, I always have to please Charlie Kaufman. So I'm not in a hurry to work again with him. And I also asked him for others. He writes very well, it's true. It's after it's an idea. But Jim Carrey, he has something he's a very good actor, first of all. And to make people laugh is very hard, and consistently for 30 years like he did. Like Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite movies ever. It's the funniest movie in the world. I can watch it 10 times. And then he did Man on the Moon, and he did The Truman Show, and he did many movies where he could see the other side, so it was great. And he always comes back to his feet, and everybody say, oh, it's finished. Like when he did Brussels, nobody thought he was good for anything anymore. So he put some money in it. He won, yes! Well, he took maybe $100,000. No, $100,000 million, sorry. No, $100 million. Okay, let me check the values of things. Okay, $100 million. He won $300 million. Not a bad deal, but nobody can blame him because nobody thought he would make any dime with rubber. You know this movie, Rubber in the Bronx? Rubber in the Bronx is a Jackie Chan movie. Rubber, like a rubber is that. Yeah, it's when you say Jackie Chan, it's a Jackie Chan. But Jackie Chan is like Jackie Chaplin in the second time. Jackie Chan is a genius, and this movie is great. Anyway, don't think it's already the movie in the dictionary with the best. I'm not drawing anymore. What's wrong with me?
Желтый микрофон у кого? Последний вопрос.
Hello. Michel, can you name 3 of your favorite movies?
Sorry?
Can you name 3 of your favorite movies? Smoking kills.
Huh? Golden Rush? Favorite movies? Or the Golden Rush? I'm not smoking, I like to smoke with a beautiful woman. I'm going to do it.
Golden Rush is one.
Golden Rush? Hold on. There's a billion of my favorite movies. Ah, yes. I have to find a Russian film. Okay. Alexandre Nevsky. Yeah.
Wow.
I know the guy who did, it was a Polish guy, who did the costume, and it was after the war, and they have no money to do the earring. They took nutshells, and the cover was still foil. So that's why, I mean, all the Russian movies are great, but let's say, well, okay, let's say Tarkovsky. Okay, now I'm going to do a French one. So it's called My Little Lovers. It's from Jean Eustache, who did the Mother of the Horse. And this one is much less famous. Don't take a picture of me smoking. My son is going to keep me. Sorry. Ah!
Are you alright?
Every time.
What question do you need to answer?
Okay, hold on, I have a scoop. It smells like hot.
Smells like pot.
Green microphone, hard plus smoke. Let me prove it. Hold on. Look, that's a guy watching a movie and smoking in his head.
Вы получили 3 фильма. Александр Невский, Золотая лихорадка.
I said 3 movies.
You said Golden Rush.
Yeah.
Alexandr Nevsky.
And My Little Lovers by Jean Eustache.
And My Little Lovers.
Hold on. Yeah, another question.
Can I ask you? Excuse me. Michel.
Hold on.
Hold on. Do you still have a
I
dream?
don't like to smoke alone.
Oh. Michel, do you still have a dream?
Yes.
What kind of?
My dream is to spend the night with my cigars.
No, I'm not smoking. I'm not the one to encourage. I never smoke except with No, my dream, yes, of course. I'm doing it right now. Actually, doing that is stupid. I mean, okay, I'm doing stupid joke, but I think it's funny. I don't judge myself. But, yeah, dream, of course, I would like to. I have. Bob. She's green and blue. That's a woman.
Yeah, I know.
Which was it? You know about the Jackson 1? Jackson 1.
Jackson 1.
Jackson 5 or Jackson 1? Yes, a green afro. Alright, okay. Then if I work well, I'm going to be in good health when I'm old. You have a nice wife. That's right.
Дорогие друзья, спасибо большое. Мишель может, наверное, вечер делать какой-то нам прекрасный перформанс. Thank you, Michel. Thank you, Aliona.
Thank you.
So, see you in Gondry.